The season gets underway tonight for your Dallas Stars. They'll be at Winnipeg to take on the Jets. What?
No, I get mad every time I see Jersey Jerry on TV because everybody on Twitter started saying I look like him on the far left. They're on the Barstool.
It looks
side.
like a combo of you and Shippy. he looks like a chubby Shippy.
Shippy pre-party or post-party?
Shan, RJ, and Bobby. Choppy is out today and tomorrow on vacation. And in studio, Stars Insider going to be living at the AAC throughout the entire year. He is dressed in all green. That is not for the football Jets. That is for your Stars. He is Jake Riepma, also co-host of Fan University Saturday mornings. Good morning. You ready to go?
Yeah, good morning. Happy
Dallas
hockey season.
Stars.
All right. I'm amped up. The espresso's flowing, but I know it's game one tonight. We got 82 of these things, soon to be 84. The NHL season's going to be a little bit longer coming up.
How much have you missed playing with the kids?
Oh, I am excited for the all kinds of block party and the whole. I got the email.
Get in there with the kids.
Yep, everything that's going on for the home opener Tuesday night. But let's temper our excitement. We got 2 big road games before the home opener.
Word in the building here is that you can't say the word Saturday.
Yeah.
Don't go into detail.
Okay.
Great detail.
Yeah, I posted this yesterday because I've never received such an email. But we do the Texas State Network sports reports. They go out to a number of different stations.
Wow.
We love our TSN reports. And I got some feedback I'd never heard before. But apparently I don't pronounce the T in Saturday.
Okay, so how would you regularly say it?
I have no idea. That's the thing.
Give me the days of the week starting with Thursday.
Yeah, hey, there's a big game coming up Saturday.
So maybe you're saying it like a D, like
I don't know.
Saturday.
Great center for the Colts, Jeff Saturday.
I think you're trying to say.
No,
it
I know
now.
exactly in the moment, but I think what happened maybe
because I'm like, how could you ever?
Right? How else could you say
that Saturday? Saturday.
You could do that. What's the thing that Corey hates? The way Greg Olson says it. There's something where he says he doesn't say a T in the middle of a word or something like that, or it's like maybe it's a subtlety like what people say with your name, which I still don't understand the difference between. Where apparently your name is said different than
Sean.
Okay, so that's your name, or that's
my name.
And what's the other way to say it?
Sean.
That's the same thing.
It's like a U and a W. Sean.
Drug it out a little more, Bobby.
Sean. So Saturday.
I don't know. Listen. The very first time I was on air with you, you said I said some word funny, and now I'm very nervous that I'm going to say something wrong.
All right, Jake. Why should we believe? Do you believe that the Stars are better, just as good as last year, or a step back?
I think they're better because of the breath of fresh air that Glen Gulutzan can provide. And I'm choosing to be optimistic because the other side of the coin is, you fire a coach that's been to the Western Conference Finals back-to-back years. That's pretty good. You're among the 4 best teams in the NHL, and there's certainly something to be said about that. However, any sport you look at, sometimes complacency is a component of it. And a shot in the arm, something to shake things up, and it starts at the top. Glen Gulutzan is a fiery guy. I remember being on with you guys when he was first hired. You can go on YouTube and find clips when he was the head coach for the Calgary Flames of just going crazy on guys. And listen, I know we accuse some of these Stars players for being a little bit soft when Pete DeBoer did this. However, I do think it's a breath of fresh air. It's a new voice, and what he's made his mark on is being a power play genius. That's how he made his mark with the Edmonton Oilers, and they had one of the best power plays in the NHL, the best power play in the NHL, and it helps when you have the best players. But at the same time, the breath of fresh air, shot in the arm, a different voice with the same core. It's exciting.
So how do you reasonably justify breath of fresh air for a guy that Jim Nill fired 10 years ago?
Great question. Totally different situation in 2011. I think you could look in every single layer of that Dallas Stars team where they were coming back. The uncertainty with the league. There were a lot of different factors at play there. And I think, too, in the past, as long as that is, you look at what Gulutzan has done since then. I mentioned his time with the Flames. He didn't get over the hump there, but he has some head coaching experience. And then, oh, by the way, he goes and is really successful as an assistant coach. I think if you believe in second chances, and that was a long time ago, hey, here's now a time with a really established organization like the Dallas Stars who have been to the Western Conference Finals 3 consecutive years and give him this opportunity to get him over the hump.
Jake Riepma in studio to preview the Stars season. So with Brian Schottenheimer, we were looking for early indicators that were different from McCarthy, like more motion. Bobby's been talking about condensed formations. Broadus and Zach Wilczek are fighting about concepts in the run game. But give us some tangible things to look for with Glen Gulutzan differences. The first thing that comes to mind to me is physicality. Can this team be more physical with a lot of the same roster? You mentioned the power play. Obviously, we're going to be judging that early.
Yeah, the power play is an easy one where you literally have statistics for it. Okay, how is the team on the power play? But I was listening to his post-game press conference after practice yesterday, and any coach would tell you this, but it's going to take some time. We're not going to watch the game tonight and say, oh my goodness, it's a different Dallas Stars team. But he talked about how every single player on this Dallas Star team plays with a cerebral approach. They're smart players, and we know how gifted they are physically and how talented they are. Guys like Mikko Rantanen, some of the best in the game, and defensively, he could not stop singing the praise of how deep this team is defensively. And I think you'll see that as, part of this kind of new age Stars team where all of a sudden, every guy in that blue line is playing an impactful brand of hockey. That's part of what he brings. And then he talked about just the acclimation process as well, where it's going to take a couple of games. We're going to continue to make adjustments. He's big on in-game adjustments and that sort of thing. And what we did today isn't necessarily what we're going to need to do tomorrow. But at the same time, the biggest adjustment is going to be with the centers and their ability to play two-way hockey. And that goes without saying. Any coach will tell you the importance of that. But at the same time, there is a shot in the arm. I keep going back to that, where there's going to be a new look to this Dallas Stars team because of the influence from Glen Gulutzan.
Give me an X's and O's example, if you can, of difference on the power play. What is Glen Gulutzan is going to draw up? How does that work on a power play of what could be different?
Yeah, well, the easy answer is just, get McDavid and Draisaitl out there. But, I think spacing is a big part of it as well. Zone entry is huge on a power play. And, different, if there was a perfect cookie cutter approach, everybody would do it. But zone entry, you can always tell on a power play how successful, or at least the chances that you're going to generate on that zone entry, and the angles and the way that they can approach that, whether it's a dump and chase, or it's the strategic angles of a certain pass where you're going to break into that offensive scoring zone entry, because every good power play starts with that puck possession in a zone entry. And so those are all big things to preach, but now going out and executing it is where I'll look to see how this Dallas Stars power play is different.
Before we totally leave coaching, Neil Graham was a loud name around here as a replacement, as a promotion. You think he could have a significant impact this year?
Oh, yeah, you saw my cheat sheet, Sean. You saw it.
We preview things on the show.
That's right. No, I think, in all seriousness, I think this is a perfect runway for Neil Graham, where you could look at his resume and say, man, he deserved an opportunity. Or you could look at the other side of the coin and say, all of a sudden, he's going to get the opportunity to learn at the NHL level. We know the success he had in the minors, but now take the next step in that development process as a coach. He's only 40 years old, and I truly believe he is the coach in waiting. Not to say Gulutzan's a bridge coach by any means, because, again, you got a team that went to the Western Conference Finals the last 3 years. You're not hiring a bridge coach, but at the same time, a guy like Neil Graham, who has so much continuity with all of these young stars, Wyatt Johnston, Jake Oettinger, the list goes on. And that's how the Stars have become as prominent.
Better.
Yes, honors better. And how they've become so good. And that developmental relationship from a coach to player. And again, that is where, not to just throw at Pete DeBoer, because that is in the rearview mirror, but that was some of the shortcomings with DeBoer. Now you've got Gulutzan at the helm, but Neil Graham to kind of be that player's coach in his role, and then take the next step at the NHL level.
So when you get hired by an NFL team, you're essentially expected, usually early on, to pay homage to the starting quarterback and to walk in there and make sure, all right, let me make sure I got a good relationship here with the quarterback. Is that priority one walking through the door? Is, all right, Pete DeBoer in large part is out of here because of a bad relationship with Jake Oettinger. Let's start off right away by making sure that's off to a good start.
No, I think there's certainly some truth to that. And I have in my notes here where we also have to put some of the onus on Otter. I mean, Otter's been so good and he's earned that reputation and earned kind of that voice in the locker room to be able to say, hey, I'm not necessarily getting along with this guy, but at the same time, he has an opportunity to establish himself as a premier goalie in the NHL and make a case for a Vezina Trophy. That's the best goalie in the NHL. So go from good to great. And oh, by the way, guys, this is the first time since 2014 where NHL players are playing in the Olympics. And I think that's huge for U.S.-born hockey players. So you got Jake Oettinger, who's going to make a bid to be on that Olympic team. And obviously, Otter's better than Connor Hellebuck. But at the same time, he's the face of American-born hockey players, of American-born goalies, Connor Hellebuck is. And so this is an opportunity for Otter to take that next step from good to great.
So it's a shot in the arm with Glen Gulutzan. It's a breath of fresh air. What are they missing with Pete DeBoer gone?
I think experience is a big part of it. The guy that's been there, done that at the highest level. He hasn't gotten over the hump, but at the same time, at the same time, he was consistently in the Western Conference Finals, not just with the Dallas Stars, but year in and year out. So that's a huge loss. But Bobby, we can't look in the rearview mirror. We got a game tonight. Let's look forward.
You got to know what you're missing, though. You got to know what you're missing and what bases you got to cover.
Nope, this is like the ex-girlfriend. You block her on every single social media account. You don't respond to her text.
So Pete DeBoer did nothing good.
No.
Pete DeBoer did nothing
you're putting
good.
words in my mouth. You're putting words in my mouth.
No,
That's not
I'm not putting anything in your mouth. Pete DeBoer did nothing good. I'm just saying, like what there had to be something that it was a decision they had to weigh. It was not an easy, just quick fire.
Correct.
What are they going to what are they losing by going Gulutzan to DeBoer?
Yeah, they're missing an established coach that got them to among the best 4 teams in the NHL. So if you think about it in college basketball terms, it's a coach that got you to the Final Four in 2 consecutive years. You sign up for that.
If he doesn't throw Otter under the bus in the press conferences, is he still the coach?
Oh, that's a good one.
Does this feel a little McCarthy-esque, Bobby, to where that was the thing they were looking for or needed to
like
separate?
They needed a pretext, basically, to go do what you wanted to do? Maybe. But I mean, like, it's such a bad history, as we found out, like when we started really researching. He's got a really bad history with goalies. Like Pete DeBoer just seems to have some sort of... It's like Choppy, what he always talks about, like Draymond Green just hates European players, or like how some people are now like, does Nico just not like the European players? What's going on here? It feels like there's something DeBoer does not like about goalies.
Well, we talked about this when it all first transpired. I remember sitting in that press conference when it was happening after they lost to the Oilers. I know, and I was just like, wait a second, is he doing this? And I felt like that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Is that the saying? I'm terrible with sayings. Yeah, the straw that broke the camel's back.
Saturday.
It gave them the reason. Yes, Saturday.
The straw that broke the camel's back.
Oh, yes, the straw. It's Jake Riepma in studio previewing the Stars season right here on 105.3 The Fan. What do you think a full season of Mikko could look like?
Well,
do you play fantasy hockey?
I do, yes, but... Long story. I know it's the Expressway. I don't want to be long-winded here, but somebody in our league, it's our league among Dallas Stars media people. And
yeah, Mac Engel gave you the invite.
Yeah, somebody created 2 teams by mistake. So when I went to log in, I was X'd out of the league because I was the last one to sign up for the league. And so they drafted the team. And it's like, I'm a GM inheriting, I didn't draft this team, but I'm going to make the most
league?
of it. No. This is the first league we're doing it. And
so where would give me the top 3 stars that would be drafted for fantasy and about the range where they would go, or top 2.
Yeah. So one is, you might think it's Connor McDavid. It's actually not. He's 3. So give me Leon Draisaitl ahead of McDavid as 2. Okay. And then Makar for Colorado. It pains me to say, but
and then the top stars.
Yeah, Dallas Stars, not like hockey stars.
Yeah. Sorry.
By the way, 972 says, I know nothing about hockey, but Jake's energy makes me want to run out and buy season tickets.
Let's do it. Yeah.
I texted that.
Yeah, I'll see you at the PNC Plaza playing hockey with the kids.
So the Dallas Stars in fantasy, how would they go? Like, is Mikko definitely one?
Mikko's the top one because of the numbers he's going to put up.
And what range would he go? Like
he was like a 7 through 10 in that kind of round.
7 through 10 overall.
Yeah. And then Miro Heiskanen is going to be your top defensive guy because he's another one that can stuff the stat sheet, which is big. And then guys, it's interesting because you want to get guys that are going to, again, fantasy here. I'm not talking real hockey. But just like in fantasy football, guys that score touchdowns aren't always like the best players, but guys that stuff the stat sheet on the power play. And we've talked a lot about that, where we don't know exactly what that's going to look like. But Wyatt Johnston is another one that I would take a flyer on. So everybody in the league are Stars, people that cover the Stars. So everybody wanted to take the Stars. So I think they were at a premium in this league.
So, Mikko, just expect another stud year.
Yeah, no, I have in my notes, if he could just put up 17 points in a 6-game span like he did in the playoffs, we should be good. No,
right.
I was listening to one. I think you could legitimately get 200 points out of Mikko Rantanen and Jason Robinson. Robo, we didn't talk about him a lot, but he's on a contract year. He's healthy. He's ready to break out, and he's ready to make that money.
Why was there talk about trading him this offseason?
Great question, because his value was super high. You think he could yield a huge return. And there was conversations, I didn't buy into this, but kind of the odd man out, just given the way he had some shortcomings in the postseason, where you've got a Dallas Stars team that is absolutely loaded up front. You could get a huge return for him, but he was kind of the odd man out. I think Wolchuk and I debated this a little bit, kind of really shake it up. But I don't believe that was the move. I'm so glad that they held on to Robo, because I see a breakout year coming for him on a contract year, healthy and ready to make a huge impact.
What did they add or lose in the offseason?
Yeah, a big addition actually here is Radek Faksa, who's a name that you're going to hear, and it should sound familiar because he's had a tenure with the Dallas Stars. It's an investment into some depth. So he's a fourth-line center guy. And it's kind of odd to see a 3-year deal for that guy that's, hey, you're playing on the fourth line, but at the same time, it shows the commitment to the depth, and I think that'll be a welcome addition for this Dallas Stars team.
Jake Riepma in studio previewing the season right here on 105.3 The Fan. Give us some other, ceiling. We did this the other day.
Oh, I love this.
The odds of making it back to another Western Conference final. Would you put your money right now that they make it back to another West final or come up short?
I would put my money there, and I was actually checking the odds again this morning just to make sure I wasn't missing anything, because I feel like the national conversation is, the Stars are going to take a big step backwards, but the odds are actually, they're right among the elite in the Western Conference still. Edmonton is above everybody. They're the favorite. And I think the new Connor McDavid deal is more proof in the pudding that, hey, now is the time for Edmonton. Everybody's high on Vegas because they signed Mitch Marner, which was a huge deal. Now the combination of Mitch Marner and Jack Eichel in Vegas there, which, by the way, I watched them last night. They have the worst uniforms in sports. I'm a big uniform guy. The ugliest uniform of all time. Is it? The Vegas Golden Knights. It is like what might come out of your nose if you're not feeling, if you're feeling under the weather a little bit. But it is just a disgusting sweater. And then a lot of people are really high on the Carolina Hurricanes, which, if you remember, that was the trade that the Stars made for Mikko, and they've got Logan Stankoven, who is a really bright young player. But the odds for the Stars I saw were right at plus 900, and a team like Colorado plus 800. That's another team that a lot of people are on. So maybe, and this is to win the Stanley Cup. So if you're talking about teams that have a legitimate chance to be in the Western Conference Finals, the Stars are absolutely in that conversation.
Jake Riepma, also the co-host of Fan University, Saturdays starting at 9 a.m. right here on the station.